So that granny flat, which we're getting photos hopefully in the next 48 hours. So they bought just the house back around 2013 off the top of my head, paid like 330. Now bear in mind that was the top of the market. That's when it was really, really hot, but the granny flat wasn't there. And then it had an older kitchen and older bathroom in it too. You can imagine, just imagine how much they've spent on this, right? So they've done the kitchen, the bathroom, then they went to council, went through that headache, paid the council to be able to put a granny flat in there. Then they've put the granny flat in there, which comes up as like 120,000 build cost, which to build that same granny flat today would be a lot more because of inflation and construction prices, etc. Then they even put that like front area out the front end, the shelter out the back. That's new because you can see it's new. All of that and 20, 30 grand of renovations internally on the kitchen bathroom. They bought it originally for 330 as it is. They would have spent 20, 30, 40 grand on renovating it, including the outdoors and all that. Because usually with granny flats, you can't lend up to 90%. You usually pay cash for them or use your actual equity or put that hard-earned cash in that to do the granny flat. And it's on the corner block where you've got the granny flat's got its own kind of access, drive down the side of the house. So even land alone would be like, even worst case, 400 a square meter, 450, 500 a square meter, right? 450, 500 a square meter, like just the land component would, like, if you were to sell it just the land, you'd be paying like 360 grand for it. And then on top of that, they've semi-renovated the house. Then they've paid 120 grand for a granny flat. To me, it just gets me excited because like you've got the land, then like how much would you have to pay to build that house again today? Because of the house to build a property like that, paying like 350. So 350 for the land, 300, 350 for the house. Granny flat, you'd be paying 170 grand, maybe more including the actual like council cost. Add 350 plus 350 plus 150, you're at 850,000 to replace. But there will be more, potential things come up in the pest and building and they won't fix it. So if it does, if you were to go through it, just, make sure there's a buffer of 5, 10 grand on the safe side, but it's pretty neat and tidy as it is. But the main house is rented out at the moment. Like you'd get that rent up to like 400, 450 for that. The granny flat, the tenants moved out a couple of weeks ago, but it was previously rented out prior for like 250, which is pretty cheap. You get 300 a week. So like combined rental appraisal, if you do speak to Justin, would literally be like 650 to 700 a week. That will actually help your borrowing power because if you buy something, usually they'll only, if it's 450 or 446 as an example, they'd only be expecting like 500 bucks a week, but this will be like 650, 700 a week. So it's extremely rare. But again, if there is something that costs 3, 4 grand, like I just have to tell you up front, like they won't be negotiate and take it off because like they'd be into this property for like 500,000 plus. In WA, as I mentioned, they won't take 2 grand, 1 grand, 5 grand off or anything like that. If anything did come up pest and building, but even as it is, like that's such a good deal. Even if something costs 3 grand to fix, it's extremely rare. House and granny flat like that. If a person wants to give it a next step, you complete a DocuSign letter of offer form. In WA, they just call it like an offer document, but it's basically a contract to sale. You get it DocuSign through, it'll already be pre-filled in with first, middle, last name, all that stuff. 21 to 28 day finance clause and a pest and building clause, same as Queensland. In WA, they're a bit more tight with their pest building conditions. So like in Queensland, sometimes if there's cosmetic stuff, you can sometimes, if you're lucky, get them to fix it or drop the price. WA, like 99.9 literally, like they won't fix it. Take it as it is and that's it. Like they're not accustomed to it as much. With any property, I would just say, have those buffers in place. If something does cost 2, 3 grand to fix, it's just, I'm very confident they just don't accept anything, unfortunately. Like Queensland's more open to it, but it's just not practice, like it's different.